So when I first read about Buddhism in various books, like that was my first introduction, just reading about it. And I became fascinated about the idea of enlightenment and attaining lasting inner peace. It just seemed so appealing. So I tried few different types of meditation on my own, just stuff I had read in books, different techniques. And I always felt really uncomfortable, like sitting. And uh, it was so difficult for me. Usually I would just give up after a few tries. And still, everything I read about meditation made me feel like I was missing out on a valuable way to like understand more about myself. And but it seemed like from everything I had read, you kind of needed to leave society and isolate yourself on a mountain, and in order to be successful. It just seemed like that was always the setting. But even then, I wasn't sure I would be able to do it if I had gone through that, and it really wasn't. That wouldn't have fit the lifestyle I was in. So at that point, I just felt like the mountain was too steep for me to climb without help, and I gave up all my attempts at meditation. But I was still always like really attracted to the idea of getting enlightenment. And the big turning point for me is when I discovered Shimgum Do and met Sabanim. That was my teacher, and he created the martial art Shimgum Do, and he used choreographed sword forms and karate forms as a mantra for a moving meditation. So concentrating on those forms while you're moving, and taking part in those classes helps me establish the routine of meditation. And we did short little stints of meditation, sitting meditation at the end. And it was always easier after I had kind of dissipated some of that energy that I'd been accumulating throughout the day. And but it was always still really hard for me to do we had the monthly sitting meditation, which is kind of what I modeled this after, where we would sit for 45 minutes and then he would talk for 45 minutes. And that was incredibly painful for me. Like my back and my legs would get so stiff and they'd go numb. And it was really challenging for me to do that. But the reward was getting to hear Sabanim speak at the end of class. He always like talked about something about how powerful your mind is, and I was always fascinated by what he was saying. Like I never wanted to miss one of his classes. And so, despite all of my discomfort, I think I only missed one of his classes in the 16 years I lived with him at the temple. And it's probably the thing that got me hooked more than actually the martial arts was what he was saying in his classes, because it was just stuff that I had never really considered before. But in his talks, he would often explain the relationship between sitting and moving meditation. And he would say, a clear mind makes clear thinking and clear action. And also, a clear action makes clear thinking and a clear mind. So the point is to have all of your actions become meditation. So it works both ways. If you're meditating, it makes your actions clear. If you're making your actions clear, it makes your mind clear. And when I did the forms, when I was doing the choreography, I could tell if my mind was clear or not clear. If I was focusing on the techniques like a mantra, I could do them clearly. And if my mind started to wander, that's when I would make a mistake. So after I learned the forms, I started to mind train. So I'd use, instead of using like a word like Kwanzaa and Bosal, I would use the visualization of the techniques and the choreography as my mantra during sitting meditation. And then that helped my ability to physically perform all the various sequences and techniques. Sometimes I couldn't even do them until I mind trained it, because it was so confusing. Until I was able to visualize it, I couldn't actually perform them. But this meant I was using the forms to clear my mind during sitting meditation, and I was using my actions to clear my mind during moving meditation. And I found that combination of sitting and moving meditation to be a more sustainable practice for me. And it was a really effective way for me to clear my mind.